Lyrics from Big Pun's 100% song ring in my head when I hear news about Jay-Z collaborating with Fat Joe and Remy Martin on this All the Way Up remix. You see, because in the year 2000, there was a there was a club altercation between Terror Squad and Rockefeller, where some people had gotten some bottles smashed over their heads, and in the midst of all the chaos, Jay-Z apparently took a swing at Fat Joe. And Big Pun addressed it on his 100% song when he says, quote, "The desert or the shoddy, whatever you the body that chose to be the dumb nigga at the party. Too much Bacardi, started speaking dumb. Then you tried to snuff Joe, must have been Puerto Rican rum." So, you know, it wasn't ever like there was a lyrical thing between Jay-Z and Pun. And in my opinion, had that shit gone down, it would have been a lot worse than Ether. And of course, speaking of Ether, Jay-Z does have a history of collaborating with people that he has had conflict with. Obviously Nas, even DMX, you know, they were feuding when they were up and coming underground artists, but Jay-Z did several collabs with DMX, you know, but you won't see him collaborate with Cameron, and you won't see him collaborate with Prodigy. But for whatever reason, he decides to jump on this remix with Fat Joe. And he also addresses this lemonade business. And I have to say that I'm not interested in all this lemonade stuff because, in my opinion, Jay-Z and Beyonce don't do anything that would ever affect their bottom line. It's just not going to. So whenever there is news of Beyonce doing something, whether it be that Super Bowl shit or it be this lemonade thing where apparently it was an onslaught against Jay-Z because he did something with his penis or he didn't do something with his penis, you guys should know this by now. I really have no interest in all this chatty patty stuff and is that person sleeping with that person. My interest is more within the music. It's within the effect of the music and what you consider about the music, what your opinion is. That is where my interest lies. It's not really in any of that that TMZ type of bullshit. So I really didn't have any concern over and also because I'm not a fan of Beyonce. Of course, you know, I admire her music from afar, but I could never call myself a fan. So when I heard that the whole Lemonade album was against Jay-Z, I paid it no mind. And now that he is addressing it on this All the Way Up remix, my reaction is sort of just like, okay, that's fine. It was also recorded in the middle of the Lemonade tour. So that gives it the sort of validity, all the validity that you should put into his verse and the whole hoopla behind him addressing it. Of course, Fat Joe's relationship with DJ Khaled, who was, you know, formerly of the Terror Squad, Terror Squadian, as Khaled would annoyingly fucking say all the time. He was affiliated with him, and I'm pretty sure they still have a good relationship. Now, cut to 2016, where DJ Khaled is now represented by Jay-Z, who is his manager. So obviously, the Khaled's ability to bring people together for collaborations also plays a part in that. But at some point, this mattered. At some point, this conflict between these two mattered. Not as much as other conflicts that we've seen in the past, because Fat Joe's never been regarded as a dangerous MC. You know, maybe back in the day, Fat Joe was regarded as, you know, somebody who was to be taken seriously lyrically, but it's never been sort of on the battling front. And I guess that's what sort of has to happen with a feud. It's not only if it's not only if there's a conflict between the two parties, it's if there's a conflict between the two parties and some lyrical shit can go down. So there was no interest in Fat Joe, really more so for Big Pun. But as I said, there was never any, there was never anything expressed by Jay-Z on the record towards Big Pun, unfortunately, because that would have been amazing. So, you know, let this be a lesson to you. Let this be a lesson to you that a lot of these beefs Of course, it's been about 16 years, but a lot of these beefs will rear their head. You know, even the conflicts that we see going on with artists now, they can rear their head after several years if both parties have something to gain. Both of these men are in their 40s. Both of these men's primes were probably in the 90s to early 2000s. Both of these men have no reason whatsoever to have a relevant record at the moment. But guess what? Fat Joe has a relevant record at the moment, and even more so because the summertime is coming, so it's got a few more legs on it now that Jay-Z's featured on the record. So when there are two parties that have an interest in the matter, then beefs can always turn their head and people can collaborate and make music. But what do you guys think about the record? Do you care at all about all this Lemonade business? What did you think about Fat Joe and Remy Ma's verses, which, obviously they switched it up on the remix, and I will see you guys next time.